I thought it might be time to talk again about ESG, environmental social governance, ethical, sustainable, responsible, green, positive impact investments. One reason being that, yes, what's on offer can be confusing. Now, our regulator recognised this and recently introduced labels which they wanted fund managers to apply to their funds, which had to fit into the categories of sustainability focus, sustainability improvers, sustainability mixed goals, and sustainability impact. They have, after a few months, dropped the idea, quite rightly I think, realising that it was likely to make potential investors more rather than less confused. Adding to the mix, there's been a lot of talk of investigations into greenwashing. The official definition of that is misleading the public to believe that a company is doing more to protect the environment than it is. Big car companies cheating on emissions tests, good example. Anyway, all of that may well lead someone thinking of investing ethically, and let's use that as a label that most people actually understand, may well lead them to think, why bother, it's all, the C word again, too confusing. And the majority, I think I can still say, of my fellow financial advisors don't actually help here. I think if we at Philip James Independent Financial Advice were to call ourselves responsible investment specialists, that might be a claim too far. But for many years we have made a point of including green, to use another actually understandable term, green investments as an option and in discussions, which, to be entirely selfish, makes us stand out from the crowd. Just this week, one of the Financial Advisor podcasts was talking about ethical investment questionnaires and the fact that big firm Quilter have dropped theirs. A shame, said one, as it was a good way to weed out the weirdos. Bet you have a lot of sandal-wearing clients then, was a recent comment to me. More often than not, advisors will discourage rather than actually encourage anyone asking about ethical funds, and so, I'll be honest, that's a niche into which I jumped. However, the more involved you get, the more you realise it makes sense, and the more you realise that it's been overcomplicated as far as most are concerned. One stat which we highlight on our excellent website is that £100,000 held in the average pension or investment fund can increase your carbon footprint more than 20-fold, and that investing in even slightly greener funds can do far more to save the planet than quite a few years of putting rubbish in the right recycling bin. So doing a bit surely makes sense for all of us, especially as many a government is doing less than they were. And overcomplicating? What I've been asked by advisors and fund managers, what if the client says they don't want to invest in something specific? I don't know, companies that are cruel to llamas and do want to invest in those that focus on llama welfare. Yeah, slightly extreme example, I know, but you get my drift. That's rare, and we'd probably say, sorry, I don't think we're right for you, because for most, knowing they're doing more good than harm is probably enough. Others want not only to avoid harm, but actually do good. Again, if they want to get very specific, we'd probably suggest they do their own thing. But there are fund managers, it's called impact investing, who really focus on both excluding the negatives, the bad stuff, and the positives of companies and businesses which do good for the world. Now, we do try to keep things as simple as possible. I've always thought it's our job to know everything, know how it all works, but to be able to explain it and make it understandable, which often means broad brushing the detail. But if that encourages rather than discourages, I can't see that it's a bad thing. So when we're talking about different types of ethical, yes, that word again, ethical investments, we rank them in shades of green, or using our own classification, which goes from farm assured, colour-wise probably turquoise, true blue with a hint of green, to pescatarian, light green, vegetarian green and vegan dark green. The farm assured funds try being the operative word, to invest in companies with good ESG, environmental, social and governance ratings. So to use an extreme example, that could include a weapons maker which turns the lights off at night, controls their emissions and looks after their employees. Pescatarian funds would exclude most of the traditional nasties, guns, fags, booze, oil, mining. Vegetarian, the same, and they'd look to include companies doing good things if including them wouldn't hit performance. And the vegan or positive impact funds focus first and foremost on doing good things. We use the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as a measure of greenness, how much the underlying companies and investments align with them, with the vegans at over 80%, pescatarians around 30%. And okay, none of it is precise to the nth degree, but I'm happy we're doing more good than harm. On our own questionnaire, which asks how you feel about this type of investment, I'd say at least half tick the "I'm really not bothered" box. But the other half say either that it's really important or that they haven't considered it but would like to know more. So we tell them. And we tell them that sometimes they'll do better, sometimes they won't. And then it's up to them.